Hello and welcome to your Urban Connection. Now, I have an interesting show for you, and I want to tell you that the topic of this show is Gayle King, the anchor of CBS This Morning. And then we asked the question, is Gayle King the next to leave CBS News Network and the CBS Morning Show? That's the question. But before we get to that, let me remind you of the sponsor for this show, which is BB Express Barbecue Express, which is at 6249 East 21st Street. And they are a full service barbecue restaurant. And first, I want to tell you that they will be open on Memorial Day. So if you want to stop in and pick up some ribs, some brisket, hot drinks, um, smoked turkey legs, whatever, they are very willing to accommodate you. Now, I also want to tell you that coming soon to Barbecue Express will be fried catfish, and that will be coming to the restaurant very soon. So stay tuned for that. And remember, that's at 6249 East 21st Street, BBQ Barbecue Express. And from what I'm told, ladies and gentlemen, the ribs are outstanding. Okay? So pay a visit to them as soon as you can at 6249 East 21st. And if you want to call them, the phone number there is 316 358 9990. That's 316 358 9990. Stop in and pay them a visit and tell them that I sent you. Okay? Now, I want to get that photo back there so you can see there clearly. But that is Barbecue Express, 6249 East 21st Street. Now let's get back to the show. And I want to tell you and talk about something here that I think you will find interesting. You know, Gayle King has been a anchor and been with CBS for about 12 years now. But it seems like there's trouble in paradise, so to speak. Okay. And what's happening is that there's CBS basically is kind of in a free fall right now. And I'll tell you what's happening. The network during the campaign season, the network stopped. I'm sorry, the network had a as you know, a presidential um, election, and so CBS has a top show called 60 Minutes, and 60 Minutes invited two candidates to an interview on their show. One was Kamala Harris, and the other one was Donald Trump. Well, as it turns out, while both were invited, only Kamala Harris agreed to appear on the show. Donald Trump chose not to. So CBS, doing the right thing, moved forward with their show and aired the show featuring only Kamala Harris. Well, after the show was over, and Harris came across very proficient. And after the show, then Donald Trump and his campaign came up with this wild idea that CBS had effectively engineered the show to put Kamala Harris in a bright spot and diminish him. Now, he chose not to appear on the show, ladies and gentlemen. But at the same time, after the show aired, I think he regretted that he didn't go. So he then sued CBS Network for $20 billion. Now, here's the thing. You see, CBS is craving to Donald Trump's bullying, even though all of the legal experts say that they should not, because this is an easy win for them. Donald Trump has no solid evidence and cannot prove that CBS did anything wrong. But you see, CBS is involved in a merger with another company. And mergers of this nature have to go through the federal government. The FCC has to approve it. And CBS is afraid that if they don't kowtow to Donald Trump's wishes, the feds will deny the merger. Now, this has caused all kinds of havoc in CBS newsroom and in the CBS administration. This has caused the president of CBS News to retire. This has caused a couple of the anchors on CBS to retire. This has caused the morale among the employees at CBS to go through the roof because of the fact that they don't feel that CBS should be caving to Donald Trump. So you've had several departures, and these were high-level departures. And it's caused a problem at CBS News, at some of CBS's best shows, including Good Morning America. So, according to Radar Online, Gayle King is ready to exit from CBS as she desperately tries to save her legacy amid the network's legal nightmares and their crumbling morale. Okay? Some in the arena say she didn't sign up for this mess, and that's what it's become, is a mess. A source told Hollywood Insider, it's over. They continue, this is not what Gayle signed up for. She's still one of the most respected names in the news, and she's being dragged down by chaos that she can't control. Now, I want to address that statement right there. They said she's one of the most respected. And I want to tell you something. I have to tell you that I felt myself that Gayle King was well respected and considered one of CBS's better products. But after researching this story in preparation for the show, I'm finding out that Gayle King, while she appears to be a lovely woman, she's not as well respected as some people believe. Now, I think there's several reasons for that. I think some of it is because of jealousy. After all, she last year signed a 1-year contract, which is not really typical of news anchors, because they usually sign 2 to 5 year contracts. But she signed a 1-year contract for $10 million. So she had to be respected by somebody at CBS. Okay? Now, but since this issue has come up at CBS, Gayle King and the CBS Morning Show have faced declining ratings for that morning show. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, ratings on a national news program or any kind of national programs determines an awful lot about your future with that particular channel or station. Because as ratings raise, hey, your tenure rises. You have a longer tenure. As ratings drop and you can't turn them around, which it appears that they cannot do amongst this mess that CBS and Donald Trump are faced with, this is not going to turn around anytime soon. And the network itself, I have to tell you, the network is considering everything in an attempt to turn this around, including bringing in new anchors. So naturally, this is not going to sit too well with Gayle King. And so Gayle is looking forward to moving on. And we don't know for sure that's going to happen. But I want to tell you one thing from my own particular standpoint. You know, while Gayle is not seen in a favorable light by many people, I feel this is basically due to the fact that Gayle, for too long, has basically hung on to the coattail and allowed herself to be too tightly influenced by her favorite friend, Oprah Winfrey. Now, I think that this has caused a lot of jealousy. Okay, this has caused a lot of jealousy. I maybe in the industry and amongst the viewers. A lot of viewers feel that Gayle is not that talented. They feel that she only got the job because of her association and close ties to Oprah Winfrey, and that she really doesn't have the talents and the skills to be in the position and earning the salary that she is receiving. So I don't know, and I cannot tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you that if she leaves, it will be within the next I would say probably 3 to 6 months. Now, in terms of her legacy, let me say this. I think that Gayle, the association with Oprah, has a big part to play with her legacy. But I want to show you something else that I think uh, started her downfall in terms of her legacy. You remember when she, while doing the CBS show, also was involved with ESPN with a well, not ESPN, I think it was CNN, did a show that bombed with a co-anchor by the name of Charles Barkley. Now, many of you know who Charles Barkley is, but this show, which was highly praised, it was highly promoted, it was billed as being something that was going to go out of the stratosphere in terms of its popularity, didn't last 6 months. And I don't think that did Gayle King's legacy any favors whatsoever. None whatsoever. So Gayle King is now facing the music from some of the decisions that she's made. And I think the two biggest ones were the association here with Charles Barkley, who is completely at home and in his sphere doing sports, but not doing this type of show that Gayle got herself involved with. Because look, let's face it, Charles Barkley is really not a serious news person. He's not really serious in anything, and his expertise is not news. His expertise is sports, the NBA, basketball in particular. Now, surely he offers his opinions on a whole host of things, as does uh, uh, Smith, uh, but their opinions don't mean anything. And Charles is one of those that is likely to say anything on a show with Gayle King, who's trying to present a serious side. And as far as he's concerned, whether or not it's serious or just one of his funny attempts at humor doesn't make any difference to him. So those are the things that I think that have hurt her legacy. But, we'll see what happens. Now, they go on to say that Gayle King's contract is set to expire at the end of 2025, but her return is on the fence, especially due to the network's string of chaos, including the firing of CBS News president Wendy McMahon. And so that's what you have. And morale has also been low amid the 60 Minutes legal issues involving Donald Trump. CBS is currently fighting a $20 billion lawsuit filed by the president, claiming that it deceptively edited an interview last fall with his election opponent, Kamala Harris. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is far-fetched. This is nothing more than a conspiracy theory put forth by Donald Trump. And this is one of his attempts to get even with people that he feels have been unfair to him in the election. Despite the lawsuit, the longtime news program 60 Minutes has continued to call out Trump as host Scott Pelley recently slammed the 78-year-old for his efforts to target some of the biggest law firms in the country that have been critical of him with executive orders. Now, Gayle doesn't want her legacy tied to these ratings or this mess. Another insider added, she's weighing her next move carefully, but don't expect her to stay loyal to a network that can't even get a morning show off the ground anymore. See, this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. The ratings at CBS Morning have basically tanked, okay? What you have is you have a situation where Gayle King, who was formerly sitting at the top, well, I won't say the top because Robin Roberts over at ABC has basically had that spot sold up for a very long time. And that is a tough nut to crack. But anyhow, the source says the network has no direction, no momentum, and no buzz. If Gayle King is smart, and she is, she would get out of Dodge. Now, like I said, this remains to be seen. Will she do that? I don't know. I can't tell you. But this is where a lot of people in the industry feel Gayle King finds herself right now. She's involved in the center of a mess that she didn't create, she cannot control, and she can't change. And she is just an employee of CBS. And CBS, the administrators, and the people at the top of the food chain are afraid of Donald Trump. And it seems that they're apparently willing to sink the ship of CBS, and especially its news department, by catering to and craving to the wishes of Donald J. Trump. Now, I'm not here to say that this is a done deal, but it sure sounds like it to me. King's time on CBS Mornings is also struggling to stay afloat, as the show, led by the broadcast journalist Nate Burleson, 43, and Tony Dokoupil, 44, has seen its ratings get hit hard, dropping below 1.87 million, the lowest since its 2021 reboot. You see, ladies, this is what this is crux of Gayle King's attitude, okay, and her feelings. She's involved in something that is, she feels, affecting her legacy. It's affecting her paycheck, okay? Because I guarantee you, at this rate, even if she does sign another 1-year contract, it won't be for $10 million. I guarantee you she will have to take a pay cut, and a sizable one. Or otherwise, CBS will be willing to move on, because it sounds like they're already considering bringing in new anchors. And I suspect one of those new anchors will be a replacement for Gayle King. Now, another source has said about the CBS situation, it's all falling apart. They're not just changing studios because they've removed Gayle King, and this is another thing that upsets her, is they moved her from a luxury studio setting back to the old CBS studios, and they're not as luxurious as what she's into now. The network is also said to be looking for ways to cut back costs. It's all about saving money, but this isn't just about real estate. They're quietly reevaluating everything, talent included. CBS has already forced its morning show crew and cast from the very expensive Times Square studio back to its former residence at CBS Broadcast Center, a move that insiders claim left Gayle King flying off at the handle. You see, you can't put people up in these fine, expensive studios, okay, where everything is up to date, up to par, okay, and high tech, and then take them back and put them back somewhere because you have, as a business, you have to consider cost saving methods. And this is one. But then you upset the people that you put up on a pedestal and then bring them down. They never, um, that never sits too well with most people. Okay. So Gayle is livid. She sees this as a personal attack, the source said, and move that. So there, like I said, she is not very happy. She expects the same level of comfort and prestige that she had at 1515 Broadway. No exceptions. King receives a $10 million salary. That was for the 1 year, which will expire at the end of this year. So Gayle King, I'm giving you advance notice. I expect, and I could be wrong, but I expect that Gayle King will not be an anchor on the CBS Morning Show certainly after 2025, but I suspect she'll leave prior to that because instead of allowing them to fire her, I think she will remove herself, okay, and spare herself the expense of having been fired from a show that once was considered at the top of the morning shows on national television. But like I said, I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. But right now, it's not looking too good for Gayle King at CBS Morning. And like I said, things could change, but with a $20 billion lawsuit sitting in the way, I don't see it changing for CBS and Gayle King. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. So, yeah, that's the show, and that's the story. And remember, you saw it here first on Your Urban Connection. All right. So remember, as we leave, the Barbecue Express, 6249 East 21st. They will be open on Memorial Day. So you don't have to worry about cooking, preparing. You can stop in and pick up any type of barbecue product that you have taste buds for. Okay? All right. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.